Yo, what is good, YouTube, and welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we are going to be ranking the best point guards in NBA 2K24 MyTEAM on this tier list. This list consists of 36 of the best point guards in the game. I believe I pretty much included every single dark matter and nearly every Galaxy Opal point guard, in addition to one pink diamond, who is the best pink diamond point guard in the game by far. And I think we got ourselves a good list of cards today. So before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 25,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day and would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. Without further ado, the one thing I will say is if I left anybody off the list that y'all would like to hear my thoughts on, feel free to leave a comment. And yeah, let's hop into it. So Amin Thompson is, I think, very solid. I think almost honestly you could argue A tier. I think you actually could argue A tier. Although I say that, this is a list of the best point guards in the game, and I think there are a lot of strong ones. I even included 100 overalls in this list. In generally I don't include 100 overalls, but I do on tier lists, and he needs a lot of shooting badges, but as a whole, outside of the shooting badges, he's got everything else: speed, size, versatility defensively, and even making off handles for days, all that type of stuff. And I think if you add the shooting badges, his releases on very quick, his SIGs are good. As a whole, the card is good enough. His SIGs could be a little better, but as a whole, the card is good enough to deserve at least a low A tier spot. Anthony Edwards stinks, not D tier level, but C tier level. I don't care if he's a dark matter. That card is not good. His release is not elite. His SIGs are good, not great. His dunking is good. Obviously, his defense is pretty good, but I think he's kind of small. His release certainly could be better. As a whole, the card as a whole could be a lot better. He is not the worst dark matter point guard in the game, but he is certainly not the best, and I think he is a C tier PG in total. I think Austin Reeves at this point is struggling enough. He's not an elite level slasher or a defender. He's just a very good shooter and shot creator, but his SIGs at this point are a little more outdated. I think he still competes enough. I think he gives you more offensively than a guy like Anthony Edwards for sure, and I think defensively they're actually not as dissimilar as y'all might think. So I don't know. I'll probably lean with Austin Reeves actually is better than Anthony Edwards still. I think low B is probably a fair spot for him. Ben Simmons is S tier. I don't care. He's 6'11". He's the tallest point guard in the game. If you use him properly, and that is off the ball, or at least offensively off the ball, and maybe as a screener and a roller, he is a absolutely incredible card and very, very good. But if you try to play through him and have him have 40 points and 3 hunt with him, you're not going to have that much success because that's not the type of card he is. So got to remember that. But if you use him to his strengths, he is one of the most valuable cards to have in the game, period, and I think is very deserving of an S tier spot at the point guard position. Buddy Hield stinks. Does he D tier stink? I don't know. This is a very strong list, so I don't know, but I almost think he kind of does. Like when you look at this card, he's not very good, and this list is actually pretty consistent of some of the best cards in the game. He is borderline D tier for sure, at least. Buddy Hield he's got a good release, but his playmaking isn't elite. Neither is his slashing, and honestly, neither is his defense. I think you got to go D tier at this point in the game. Maybe high D, but I mean, he's one of the worst cards on this list for sure. Cade Cunningham, honestly, still deserves, I think, like an A tier spot. I wouldn't go S anymore, but with that Trey escape, how good his release is, and being 6'7" at the point guard position, still having really good completeness in terms of slashing, playmaking, shooting, and defense as a whole, this Cade Cunningham card is phenomenal still, and I think very much deserves an A tier spot. I wouldn't go S anymore, but I think he's obviously, honestly, high A. Clyde Drexler's the best point guard in the game, in my opinion, besides maybe Ben, depending on how you use Ben. Ben's probably the best if you use him properly, but Clyde is the best free point guard in the game. He's absolutely incredible. 6'7", versatile, great slasher, great release, great SIGs, great everything. Stud card. Definitely deserving of S tier. Obviously, D tier is Damian Lillard, not a good defender and undersized. Does not have unbelievable SIGs either. That card is mediocre as crap. Obviously, a D tier guy. D'Angelo Russell is surprisingly good, but I still don't think he's an S tier point guard. He's not far off, I will say, but he's probably A tier. This card is actually good. Go watch the gameplay. I did on him a couple days ago. Was very pleasantly surprised by how good D'Lo is and how funny he is as a shot creator. Del Curry is super mid. This card has a good release and okay SIGs, but he's not an unbelievable slasher. Defensively, he's fine, but not amazing at all. I just think he's fine, but not a special card at all, and I think C tier is totally fair. Derrick Rose is going to go D tier for me. His release is bad, and he's super undersized. Yes, his stats and batters are very good, but as a whole, not good enough to overcome animations that I just don't love. Definitely a guy, I think a D tier guy. Derek White is actually good. This is not a card I've done a gameplay on yet. Most of these cards I have, but Derek White I have not. But at some point I'd like to because he looks really, really good. This card looks like a stud. I know he's only 6'4", but he's got very complete stats and batters, good SIGs, and a great release. Like this card looks really good, and I think honestly could be argued as an A tier point guard with how complete he really is and the amount of defense that he also holds because he does have super solid defensive ability. Does he have Hoffa movable? No, he's got gold movable. But still, I think the card is very good, and I think like probably high B would be fair. Devin Booker also honestly feels like a low A, high B. Like, yes, his stats and badges are good. Animations could be a little better. His release is incredible. His fade is incredible, but his dribble style's good. I wouldn't say unbelievable at this point because it's really only push cross. And the rest of his SIGs, like his escape isn't elite neither. He's behind the back. So as a whole, like I like the Booker card a lot. And I think probably could still go low A because he's got great stat and badge completeness and his fade is elite, but I wouldn't go any higher than that for sure. Donovan Mitchell is a card I like a lot as a small point guard. Super fun to use. I mean, I actually do like him more than both Anthony Edwards and Dell Curry. I'm not sure I like him more enough to put him in the B tier because he is only 6'3", but he's very complete athletically. He doesn't have movable enforcer at all, though, which is a pretty important badge, although to be fair, neither does Austin Reeves. Honestly, I like him better than Reeves at this point in the game. He's on the same level anyway. I'm moving Reeves down. I think I'm putting Reeves in C, and I'm leaving Mitchell in B, at least for right now, although Mitchell might wind up getting moved down as well. I think Eddie Jones, I mean, he's 6'6". He's got amazing animations and really complete stats and badges and does defend very well. I just think when it comes to the best of the best, he's probably still A tier at this point. There are a few point guards better than Eddie Jones, I think. I like the card. I think he's very borderline. I almost want to put him S, but I'm going to go A. Gary Payton's an elite defender. One of the better viable point guards in the game for sure. He's a little outclassed by a couple of the new options, I think, but I still like the card. I think I would still go B. His release could be a little better, but he's got pretty good movement. He's a great dunker. I like the card a lot. Gilbert Arenas, legitimately, I still believe deserves S tier because of the Hoff movable enforcer. Great SIGs, great release at 6'4". Got Kemba escape, Jamal Murray behind the back, and a really, really good release as well as a super complete stats and badges and Hoff movable enforcer. That card is a stud. Jamal Crawford, I'm sorry, is one of the worst point guards on this list. I think he probably has to go D tier. He's just not good enough defensively. Not an unbelievably elite slasher, although he's okay. I think he's got an 85 driving dunk. Release is good and fade isn't terrible, but I just think like probably high D is still fair. He's not a good defender. I just don't love the card. I think Harden is so mid as well at this point, like a low C. And offensively, he's still good, though. That's the thing. Harden's one of those guys that, like, kind of like Donovan Mitchell, can be a lot of fun offensively. Doesn't have the defensive ability, especially without a movable enforcer. If you have a ton extra offs on him, he's pretty good. But I do think the next Harden will be amazing. Like, Dark Matter Harden, again, will be one of the best point guards in the game. But I think at this point, the Opal Harden is probably just a fair C-tier guy. Ja Morant is one of the best short point guards in the game because he's got unbelievable SIGs and a great release, and yet I still want to put him C tier. I'm not going to. I'm going to go low B, but I think that's the fairest, highest spot I can put him because of his lack of size. Everything else about the card is honestly pretty good, though. I would go J-Kid high C. Really do like the card. I think he definitely competes at a pretty solid level at the point guard position still. Nice fade, Kyrie dribble style, good defender, and okay-ish slasher, can shoot okay-ish as well. Like, I like J-Kid. I think he's good. I just think he's a little outdated at this point. Would probably go C. Drew Holiday's a better version of Gary Payton, in my opinion, but not better enough to go A tier. They're on the same tier. They do about the same thing on the court, to be honest. Neither of them are primary ball handlers. Both of them are okay slashers, very, very good defenders, a little undersized, and can hit open shots. Drew's release is a little better, but as a whole, I think they're both B. This is going to be the most controversial take on this list, but I do not care. Jeremy Sohan, to me, is an S tier point guard in my team. This card's versatility, defensively and size-wise, is unmatched by any card not named Ben Simmons in my team. 6'8" with a 7-foot wingspan gives you absolutely elite level size, not to mention incredibly versatile defense with the most important perimeter and interior badges in the game on Hall of Fame. Having Hoff speed booster and handles for days, as well as SIGs that are actually, well, at least a release that is improved. SIGs could be better. That is the one critique of this card. And the one thing that is like, is he really better than a Galaxy Opal Cade Cunningham or a Dark Matter Eddie Jones? And my honest opinion is, if used properly, just like Ben Simmons, especially with his defensive eliteness and versatility and value, I think he is an S tier point guard. I believe LaMelo is very high A. In fact, I want to put him S because his defense is really good, but offensively he could be a little better. He's 6'7". He does not have Hoff movable. He's got gold. He moves better than Jeremy Sohan, though I will say he's probably also S. I honestly think their size is what gives them the value, though. Both of those cards are very, very good. Excuse me. The thing is, I only have room for about like 2 more S tier guys, and one of them is obviously LeBron. I think he's actually the only 100 overall S tier, though, because all the 100 overall releases are questionable. LeBron is tied for the tallest, but also has the best release, and I think the best animations as a whole. Luka's release is so mid, and he's 6'7". MJ is worse than Luka, I think. They do the exact same thing on the court, but MJ's release is even worse, in my opinion. He's got a smaller player build. Like, neither of those cards are good. And I think Magic is only A tier because he's 6'9". Yes, he's got amazing SIG stats and badges, but his release is kind of like booty juice, honestly. Is he actually worse than Jeremy Sohan? Probably not. But I honestly really want to put him A tier, and I really want to put Jeremy Sohan S tier, and that's because Magic's completely unattainable, and Jeremy Sohan is 52,000 MT. And you know what? I don't care. I'm doing it. I'm leaving Magic in the A tier. I think that's fair. You know what? I have to move Sohan down as well, though, just because I think I have him a little high right now. I'm going to move him into the A tier as well. That's fair. Because Oscar Robertson has to go S tier as well to me. I feel like Oscar, when I used him, he's 6'5". He doesn't actually feel small. He's really good defensively. I think he's a better version of a Gilbert Arenas, to be honest. Like, I really like Gilbert a ton. I think Oscar Robertson is absolutely amazing. And the more I look at that card, pretty much perfect SIGs, elite level fade, and I think the best upper in the game, which really makes his fade absolutely insane. I think he's S tier, and I think he deserves it. I think moving Magic and Sohan down actually fixes the S tier a little bit. Eras's release is so mid, and honestly, his movement isn't very good either. He's worse than Jaw. He's definitely C tier. I am not high on that Russ card at all, to be honest. I just don't think he's very good. I know he's new, but he's not elite. Obviously, SGA is one of the best point guards in the game. Top 3 or 4. Very, very good card. Elite SIGs. Really good release. Moves incredibly well, but also super complete stats and badges and great size. Definitely one of the best cards in the game still. I would put Sean Livingston at B tier. I think he's solid. His movement could be a little better. His shooting could be a little better, but overall, he's 6'7", good defender. Solid card. Steph Curry is Steph Midi. I'm sorry. Like, he's probably C because he's got good stats and badges, but that card is not good. Tyler Hero is horrible. I don't care that his release is decent. Everything else about that card, in my opinion, is so mid. His fade is not good. That is one of the worst dark matters in the game. And I think outside of Derrick Rose, he's the worst dark matter point guard in the game. I'm going low D, or high D. I'm sorry, but still D. Tyrese Halliburton's release is mid, yes, but he's not horrible. I mean, is he really not? I don't actually know if he's not D tier. Here's the thing about him. SIGs, Trey Escape is good. Jamal Murray behind the back, or Tyler Halliburton Jamal behind the back. I actually don't know yet because I haven't used it. John Wall's drag back, D-book dribble style, like meh. Could be a little better, right? Release up very quick is still not that good of a release. I'm putting him in D, and I'm putting Tyrese Maxey in C, I think. Because Tyrese Maxey has a better release than Tyrese Halliburton for sure. Yes, he's a couple inches shorter, but he also does, well, he doesn't have movable enforcer at all. Now he's also going D tier. I don't care. I'm putting both those guys in D tier. I know they're new cards and they're free. They're not that good. And honestly, that makes this list really even as well. 7 guys in each tier and 1 guy in the B tier as well, extra. Honestly, I think this is a pretty good tier list, so I'd be interested to hear y'all's thoughts on this list, who y'all think should be higher or lower. If there's anybody I left off the list that y'all would like to hear my thoughts on, feel free to let me know. But that is going to do it for this video. I hope y'all did enjoy. If you did, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.